If you took off in a spaceship and never stopped, what would you find? Would you eventually reach a cosmic wall? Would you break through into something else? Or would you discover that there is no edge at all? The truth is stranger than the question suggests, because the universe doesn't have an edge in the way a table or a road might, not in any way we're used to thinking. To understand why, we need to begin with what we can observe. The observable universe extends approximately 46.5 billion light-years in every direction. That number is larger than the universe's age, 13.8 billion years, because space itself has been expanding the entire time. The farther we look, the further back in time we peer, but also the more stretched space has become. Beyond that boundary, the light from distant galaxies hasn't had enough time to reach us. Not because they're too far away in the traditional sense, but because the space between us and them is expanding faster than light can travel. This is where it starts to get unintuitive. Galaxies aren't flying away through space. Instead, space itself is expanding. Every inch of it, everywhere, all at once. The farther a galaxy is from us, the faster it appears to be receding, not because it's moving, but because the space between us is growing. So what's at the edge of the universe? As far as we can tell, it's not a physical boundary or a wall, but rather the limit of our observable universe. This edge is defined by the cosmic event horizon, the maximum distance from which light has had time to reach us since the beginning of the universe. Beyond this horizon, galaxies and other objects are receding faster than the speed of light due to the expansion of space itself, making them forever invisible to us. In other words, the edge we refer to is not a tangible end, but a horizon dictated by the universe's age, the speed of light, and the rate of cosmic expansion. It's a boundary of observation, not a true edge in space. That invisible threshold is more than just a limit on what we can see. It's a limit on what we can ever know. No matter how advanced our technology becomes, we cannot reach beyond this cosmic horizon. It's not a wall we might someday climb over, but a fundamental consequence of the laws that govern the universe. What lies beyond it depends on the true nature of the cosmos, and while we don't know for sure, we have a few compelling models. One possibility is that the universe is truly infinite, a never-ending expanse of matter, energy, and structure. In this view, the edge isn't something physical, it's a psychological artifact born from the limitations of our vision. We see a sphere around us not because we're at the center, but because light has only had so long to travel. If the universe is infinite, then there is no center and no boundary, only more space and more time, continuing forever. Alternatively, the universe might be finite but unbounded. Imagine the surface of the Earth. It has a finite area, but you can walk in a straight line forever without falling off the edge. Now take that concept and add a dimension. In a three-dimensional curved universe, space could bend back on itself. If you traveled in a straight line long enough, you might eventually return to your starting point, not because you turned, but because space itself is curved and closed. There's also the more exotic possibility that the universe is finite and has a kind of edge, but not in any ordinary sense. Theoretical models involving higher dimensions suggest that our universe could be a kind of three-dimensional membrane floating within a higher dimensional space. If so, then perhaps there is a boundary of sorts, a place where our universe ends and another begins. This is where ideas like brain cosmology and eternal inflation enter the picture. According to the theory of inflation, our universe underwent a burst of exponential expansion in its earliest moments. Some variations of this theory suggest that other regions of space may have undergone similar inflations, creating separate bubble universes. We might be just one of countless universes in a much larger multiverse, each one governed by its own set of physical laws. In this framework, what we think of as the edge of the universe might simply be the transition between our bubble and the next, forever inaccessible to us, because it lies beyond any horizon we can observe or even imagine. But for all these possibilities, one thing remains constant. Even if the universe has an edge in some physical or conceptual sense, we may never reach it. Not because it's too far, but because space itself is running away faster than we can chase it. Because information has limits, and so do we. And if you're wondering whether the universe might suddenly collapse in on itself, erasing everything without warning, rest easy. Our best scientific understanding doesn't support that fear. While some speculative theories propose scenarios like the Big Crunch or vacuum decay, The overwhelming evidence points in a different direction. The universe isn't slowing down, it's accelerating. Space is expanding faster and faster, driven by a mysterious force we call dark energy. And as far as we can tell, it will continue to do so indefinitely. The end, if there is one, won't come as a violent collapse, but more likely as a slow fading into silence. And so, while the universe remains a place of awe and mystery, it is not something to fear. It is vast, it is ancient, and it is, for now, incredibly stable on its path of endless expansion. So what's at the edge of the universe? As far as we can tell, nothing you could ever reach. Not because it's guarded by a wall, but because the rules of space and time themselves stretch and slip away the farther you go. The edge isn't a place, it's a consequence of how fast space expands, how limited light is, and how short a time we've been watching. It's not that the universe is hiding something out there, it's that we are trapped in here, inside a bubble of observation. And no matter how far we peer, we are always staring outward from a single, moving point in a story still being written.